Shalom, shalom, family. My name is Brother YaHUaH bin YHUH.
My name is Brother Allahim bin YHUH. Shalom.
Shalom, family, and welcome to YHUH Commonwealth Ministries, where we are a Bible teaching ministry based on the commandments of the Creator YaHUaH. Before we get started, we're going to have an opening scripture reading.
Our opening scripture reading will be read from Psalm chapter 46, verses 1 and 2. And it reads, YaHUaH is our refuge and strength, our very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear in the changing of the earth, and in the moving of mountains into the seas. May the reading of the word of YaHUaH have a blessing in Yahushua's name. Hallelujah. YaHUaH.
Hallelujah, YaHUaH, family. And again, welcome, welcome. I am excited to actually present this teaching, the mark of the beast. What I would like us to understand is that when it comes to the book of Revelation, people steer away from it because they say, oh, it's too terrible. It's too hard to understand. Well, if you're not an avid Bible studying type person and really searching things out, then you'll find some things hard to understand. But what we want to focus on today is just simply the mark of the beast. You know what I'm saying? And we know that people cover all kinds of wonderful ideas on what the mark of the beast could possibly be, or it should be. I say this much: please stay away from the corner preacher brethren out there that are giving you all types of things that are not necessarily written in scriptures. But for those who are seeking the kingdom of YaHUaH, YaHUaH always wants to warn you of the danger ahead, right? So what did he tell Adam in Genesis 2:17? Do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of righteousness and evil, for in the day you eat of it, you shall surely die. Right? Adam died in the day of YaHUaH, which is 1,000 years to Adam. Because Adam died at the age of what?
930.
930. So it was 70 years left before he was supposed to get his transition. But because he allowed sin into the world, because YaHUaH warned him about it, hey, he ended up dying at 930 years, right? So, in Revelation, we have all types of warning, not just in Revelation, but throughout the whole book. There's warnings that tells us to beware of a beastly system, right? And this beastly system has been set up as Babylon, which is no longer, trust me, is no longer one particular location as most people try to teach. It is a system indeed, but it's a system of God worship, right? So God worship is not just on the, what they call the 7 hills of Rome. It's on the 7 continents. It's where it is, brothers and sisters. So we're not going to look at the little picture, look at the big picture. My mom always said, boy, move back from the TV when you go blind, right? But what she meant was, hey, step back from the TV so you can see what? The whole picture. So with the mark of the beast, I want you to step back from the TV so that you can begin to see the whole picture. This is just one part of the picture, or one channel directly, but it is a conversation that is needed. It is a conversation that people have to learn to understand and come out of the understanding from a traditional standpoint and look at it from a prophecy standpoint, brothers and sisters. The biblical prophecy standpoint of what the mark of the beast is, right? So what we want to do is we want to kind of like walk you through a little bit of this. Can't cover everything in this one lesson, and we can do several lessons to really get the full gist of it. But what you need to know right now is what this particular mark represents, because a mark represents a sign. A sign gives you instructions, right? Or it shows you something particular, right? So if you blow past the stop sign, you were taught the stop sign meant to do what? Stop, right? So don't blow through the stop sign. Let's understand what it means, because it's there for a particular reason, to protect you, to warn you of imminent danger if you blow through the stop sign. Because what if someone else is blowing through the stop sign the other way? It's going to be a great disaster, right? So we want you to avoid the great disaster by explaining and showing you through scriptures what the mark of the beast is, right? So let's start off with Revelation chapter 13. Let's read verse 18 to get to the point of this right quick, right? Go ahead, Al.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
Here is wisdom.
Here is wisdom, understanding, counsel, and might in YaHUaH, right? Here is wisdom.
Let him who has understanding count the number of the beast.
Let him who has understanding, those who are paying attention to what the stop sign means, right? Go ahead.
For it is the number of a man.
For it is the number of a man, right?
And his number is 666.
His number is 666. Most conveniently, most people say this is the papacy of the Roman Empire, and the 666 represents a title, vicarious, filii, die. When you use the Roman numerical system, the letters come out to the equal of 666, right? Now, there's something they tell you about the mark of the beast, or this number of a man. We got to understand the number. I'm not going to deal with so much as vicarious, filii, die, because that's the small picture. Let's step back from the TV and see the big picture, brothers and sisters, because 666 has something particular about it that no one is discussing or refuse to teach you. But let's explore it together for understanding, because here is wisdom, right? Let him who has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, right? Read verse 16. Let's see what this man is supposed to be doing. Go ahead.
Verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, that they should give to themselves a mark upon their right hands or in their foreheads.
Wait a minute. So this guy is saying, I need for you to willfully. It ain't going to be forced on you.
Right.
He's going to ask you, are you willing to take my mark? Right? Are you going to obey my stop sign, or are you going to blow through it? Right? So he says that, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, that they should give to themselves a mark upon their right hand and on their foreheads, right? So now, we want to understand something here. What you are willing to do with your right hand, you are offering up the right hand of what?
Fellowship.
Fellowship, right? And you are agreeing consciously in your mind also to deal with this 666, which is an office. It's what it is, brothers and sisters. Someone is in control of an office that's telling you that if you want to be a part of this system to benefit from the benefits of it, you have to agree in your mind to accept it, and you have to give the right hand of fellowship to it, brothers and sisters. So here is wisdom. Let him who understand count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Like I say, I ain't trying to explain what 666 is, but the sign of YaHUaH is what? 7, right? 7 represents completion with YaHUaH. So obviously, maybe 666 means that whatever this system is, when it's set up, is going to be incomplete, right? It's not going to fulfill its fullness because it has to be what? Cut off, right? So let's look at something else. Continue from right quick, verse
17. and that no one might buy or sell unless he had the mark or the number of his name.
Okay, so now you have to be able to deal with the economics, the economy, right? He's in control of the economy, you know, a penny for a grain, etc., as it says. But the beast, what is the beast? The beast, we know, is going to be a military/king type person, right? Because who runs an economy? A king, a governor, a president, someone who's atop of the horn. They call it a horn. He's a horn. Horn represents power, right? So now, the mark of the beast. There's plenty of marks and there's plenty of signs, right? So this person is going to be in control of, not just first and foremost, the economic system, right? And he's going to run it roughshod. That's what he's going to do. But he's telling you to agree. He ain't forcing you because they want you to come willfully, right? So in Hebrews 10 verse 26, it says, for he who sins willfully, right? We'll get the punching here from you. Plain and simple, right? So the mark of the beast or the order of the beast coming from his office is about you being in compliance with his statutes, judgments, ordinances, etc. Right? Let's look at something else. Let's go to Malachi chapter 4. Because the beastly system, the mark of the beast, believe it or not, brother, we have always been seeing it coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. Right? But let's see how we see it today. Though we say it's not been manifested, it has been manifested. You just ain't paying any attention. Just like when Satan said in the garden, Genesis 3, verse 5, YaHUaH knows that in the day when you listen to my doctrine, accept my doctrine in your mind, and give me the right hand of fellowship, then you'll be just like the gods. Did you pay attention to that verse? So hey, the mark of the beast, 666, is actually a king or a governor that has authority in the earth to control the economy. Well, he's going to have a homeboy alongside of him too. We're going to expose him also. But here in Matthew 4, let's see what the Mashiach was up against. Matthew 4, verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
Verse 1. Then YaHUaH was led up by the Ruach, or the Spirit, into the wilderness, to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterward he was hungry.
Go ahead.
So when the tempter came to him, she said, if you are the son of YaHUaH, command these stones to be turned to bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of YaHUaH.
Wait a minute. So those who are going to consciously give their servitude to the beast and the right hand of fellowship is not eating from the tree of life. They are eating from the tree of the knowledge of righteousness and evil, who has set up the beast in the last days. Set up this kingdom in the last days, right? So how do we know? Because they use this, for instance, where it says that at verse 2 again, I'll read it.
And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterward he was hungry.
So he fasted. The Mashiach fasted 40 days and 40 nights. What is Lent about? It's about giving up something for what? 40 days and 40 nights, right? And then they start Lent with what? Fat Tuesday. Sin all you can before when? Ash Wednesday, right? So now, Ash Wednesday, you are trained to constantly take the mark in your forehead, to agree to it with the ashes, to put the little cross there, or in your right hand. The system is already in place. We're just not paying any attention to it, or we're not putting it together like YaHUaH said to understand it, right? So we know that on this side of the hemisphere, at least, if you want to deal with the vicarious fully died, who it says is the replacement for Christ. YaHUshua is not Christ. So he's not replacing YaHUshua, he's replacing your gods. your main God, which is Jesus, the Christ, right? So if he is replacing your God and making himself a Pharaoh in the earth as God, being the false prophet to the beast, then they got you coming and going. You've been tricked here and you've been tricked over there, basically. Just understand in plain terminology that the number of the man is based on the office, brothers and sisters. So, Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, 40 days of Lent, then they give you Easter. What about Pesach? What about Passover? No, it's Easter, bro. Sunrise worship. The system is already set in place, but ain't nobody paying any attention. Why? Because God has lowered you to sleep with his beastly system. But remember, it's consciously in your mind or your right hand. Let's go look at that. Let's go look at YaHUaH explaining to us also when he said the right hand of fellowship. Let's go to Galatians chapter 2. Galatians chapter 2. Yeah, we're going to pick it up at verse 6, right?
Yep.
Galatians 2 and verse 6. And let's read a little bit and let's see what YaHUaH is telling us about how to deal with the right hand of fellowship, right? Galatians 2 and 6. When you get that, go ahead.
Verse 6. Now those who seem to be in authority, whoever they were, it made no difference to me. YaHUaH is no respecter of the person of any man. In conference, they did not lay anything additional to me. But on the contrary, they then realized that the message to the uncircumcised was committed to me, just as the message to the circumcised was committed to Kepha.
So the uncircumcised for YaHUaH was the nations. They call them Gentiles. Gentiles just simply means nation, right? And then circumcised was the house of YaHUaH, right? Go ahead.
Verse 8. For he who was at work in Kepha to the ministry of the circumcision, or the Adonai, was also at work in me to the Gentiles.
Okay, for he who was at work in Kepha, right, YaHUaH through YaHUshua, was also at work with YaHUaH through YaHUshua for the nations, right? They say YaHUaH is the apostle of the Gentiles, of the nations, right? Well, Kepha was the apostle to the house of YaHUaH. But what did they offer YaHUaH? Go ahead.
Verse 9. And understanding the blessings given to me, or Yaakov, Kepha, and YaHUaH, who seemed to be the pillars, gave to me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship.
Oh, the right hand of fellowship, meaning what? They come into an agreement, right? We go, hey, YaHUaH, let's agree to do the will of YaHUaH. Here's my right hand, give me your right hand. That's fellowship. Sounds good. There it is, right? So with the beast and his system, his office of desecration is his mark, brothers and sisters. You see his mark all over the place. You see his sign all over the place. You know, when you go look at, I live down the street from a First Baptist church, right? You know that anyway. But what's on top of their building? The big old steeple. That's a sign that in this building is God worship. Simple as that. If you see churches with crosses, that means that this is a building facilitated for God worship, right? So if you go into a mosque where you see the crescent moon, this is a facility for God worship, right? So, hey, the mark of the beast, the number of the man, it's all over the whole planet, on all 7 continents, basically. Wherever men dwell, there is a house of worship for a God, brothers and sisters. So, the mark of the beast, it is the worshiping of God. Basically, the dragon. We're going to find that out. But did you finish that?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go to Deuteronomy 6, verse 8, right? Deuteronomy 6 and verse 8. Because it's just so important that we pay attention to the sign. Here's a sign from YaHUaH, right? Here's what we can say is a mark from YaHUaH, right? So let's pay attention to the sign and the mark. Actually, let's not start at verse 8. Start 2 verses prior. When you get there, go ahead.
Verse 6. And these laws which I command you this day must be in your heart.
Wait a minute. These laws which YaHUaH commands you this day must be in your heart. What's your heart to YaHUaH?
Your mind.
Your mind. So, the beast whose number is 666, which is the number of a man, has control of a system that's telling you to join it wholesale, but you got to agree with it in your mind to come to the resolution if you are or if you're not, right? And if you say okie dokie, then he say let's shake on it, right? And when you shake on it with the right hand of fellowship, meaning you're going to worship it. Now here's wisdom: you are caught up in the beastly system, or you have taken the mark willfully of the doctrine of the beast, right? What did Satan, who professed to be God in the garden in Genesis 3 and 5, tell the woman, if you listen to me, you will be just like the gods, knowing righteousness and evil, right? Are you paying attention? I hope you are, right? Continue.
Verse 7. And you must teach them diligently to your children, and talk about them when you sit in your house, and when you walk on the road, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall tie them as symbols upon your hand, and they shall be as a distinguishing mark in the eyes of everyone.
Wait a minute. A distinguishing mark. The mark of YaHUaH is the law. The fellowship with YaHUaH in your consciousness and your right hand. We told YaHUaH in the ancient days, man, get out of our face. We don't want to deal with your righteousness. We want to deal with what the God got over here. And this is why we are destroyed as a people, because we deny the mark of YaHUaH, the sign of YaHUaH, basically, right? It's deadly, brothers and sisters, because this beastly system is going to increase itself on the planet, and it's going to come almost to one unification of death. But ain't nobody paying any attention to it, right? Let's go to Revelation 12, right? Revelation 12. Because it's important to understand what you know. And if you don't know enough, then you need to seek more information, right? We can never learn enough before we leave this planet about YaHUaH's will, right? But we can learn enough to be able to navigate away from the beastly system. Simple as that, right? So, let's look at these two women here in Revelation, right? Revelation 12, verse 1. I can get there. Go ahead.
Verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried out, laboring in birth and pain to be delivered.
So this first woman with the sun and the moon and the 12 stars representing her is the nation of YaHUaH, the 12 tribes, right? So she is the bride of the Creator YaHUaH, right? So now, she was given birth, as Moshe said in Deuteronomy 18:18, I will raise up like a prophet unto you from among your brethren, and him you shall hear, right? And this son was caught up to the throne of YaHUaH, right? So now, the nation of YaHUaH, the priest nation of YaHUaH, who all the world is supposed to actually take the sign of the mark of the law and agree with the right hand of fellowship, right? But don't nobody want to do that, right? They want to deal with the bigger elements of devil demonology worship. Simple as that, right? But continue.
Verse 3.
Verse 3.
And there appeared another woman in heaven.
Another woman appeared in heaven. This is your harlot, your the beast wife. Well, she's the beast. Go ahead.
And behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon her heads. And her tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to be delivered, in order to devour her son as soon as he was born.
Okay, so the second woman is the nation. It's the governments of the world, or it's this beastly system, right? If you want to qualify this more, go back to I think it's YaHUaH 2 or 1, where it talks about Herod and the wise men, where Herod wanted to kill this son coming from this woman, which is the Mashiach, right? Wanted to destroy him because he knew he had a great cause. Not so much Herod, because Herod was just looking about being greeted by his immediate throne. You know what I'm saying? But the beast or the dragon knows that this child is coming to the world to set the stage for the woman in 1 and the woman in verse 3 They go head to head.
Right.
Right? It's going to be a palau, basically, in the end. Right? But let's go a little further. Let's go back to verse 9. Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. She was cast.
Wait a minute, hold on. How has Satan deceived the whole world? That's what you should be asking people. No one asked their preacher, well, what do you mean Satan deceived the whole world? Oh, he's just lying. He's a liar. He's a liar, a murderer, a thief, etc., adulterer. But how did he deceive us? Through the office of 666, which means that they want you to worship him as what? God. That's how you deceive. So the office of the number of the man has already been existence. Because it started with YaHUaH in the garden. And it forced its way into our lives because we didn't want to continue to fellowship with YaHUaH. Right? Go ahead, read it again.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan, who deceives the whole world. She was cast out into the earth, and her angels were cast out with her.
Her angels are the devils and demons also, brothers and sisters. So when you talk about angels, oh, they're so heavenly. Hey, it's a devil or a demon. Trust me on that. Where was they cast out to? Into the garden. YaHUaH had it right there with him. And he put the man there, and he warned the man, said, hey, don't eat, or don't take his doctrine, don't fellowship with it, don't agree with it. And the day you agree with it and fellowship with it, you shall surely die. And obviously it happened, because we've been dying ever since. So in this Revelation 13 and verse 18, understand what it's talking about, brothers and sisters. Right? America ain't Babylon. Babylon is a system for us right now. What kind of system is it? It's a beastly system of God worship because the beast, the dragon, the serpent, the devil, God has convinced us to willfully worship him. And the world has been doing this since day 2. Go ahead. Let's pick it up. Revelation 13 now, right?
Revelation 13, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy.
Wait a minute. What are the names of blasphemy? All your names are gods, right? Oh, God got many names. You damn straight God got many names. But YaHUaH has one name, brothers and sisters. So are you going to serve the one true living Father, or are you going to serve the gods of the planet? That's what you need to understand. Because God's got many names. So when you defend the names of God, then you are in willful conscious deception and giving the right hand of fellowship to the devil. Plain and simple, brothers and sisters. And whatever man he has set up to represent him, that's who you bowing down to. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was similar to a leopard, and his feet was as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his throne and great authority.
Wait a minute, who gave the beast, this system, these nations, their power?
The dragon.
The dragon. Who do we say the dragon was in Revelation 12 and verse 9?
The serpent.
The devil. Satan, right? Let's put it together, brothers and sisters. So this beast, if you go back to the book of Denial, you can see it. Right? So, in matter of fact, the Mashiach warned us and said, hey, when you see the abomination of desolation stand in the holy place or the holy land, you better flee. And he who see better go read it in the book of Denial, right? Because if you don't have the book of Denial, then you can't go back and read what we're talking about. You won't understand it, right? How to see it for what it is a beastly system of a warlike man king who is going to also incorporate a religious prophet, right? So, hey, it looks like, for the most part, and I don't have to speculate, but if you're going to use the Roman papacy as what? The false prophet, the vicarious Billy died, then you got to use the other half of the hemisphere with Islam as the beastly king did. So they got to come together and work hand in hand. So now you got to figure out that these two individuals, a king and a priest, what is the order of Melchizedek?
King and priest order.
A king and priest order. So for with the beast, it's in two parts, right? It has two rulers versus YaHUaH setting up YaHUaH as one to rule both seats. Are y'all paying attention? Come on, y'all. Go ahead, continue, y'all.
Verse 3.
Go with it.
And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered or followed after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with the kingdom that are in charge? These kingdoms are coming together to give their allegiance, their fellowship, and agreement with the dragon, right? Verse what? 6. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against YaHUaH, to blaspheme his name and his house and those who dwell in Shema or heaven.
Hey, if you go back again to Denial, I think it's chapter 10, where it talks about those who are of the house of YaHUaH, that give their allegiance to the beast, and how that they're infiltrated with people who think they seek in YaHUaH, when in all the fact they try to find out who all are worshiping YaHUaH to put them to death. Come on, y'all, we gotta wake up, because this is upon us. We seeing it, but we're not seeing it, right? We hearing about it, but we're not listening about it, right? Come on, y'all. Revelation 17. Revelation 17, right? So the beast blasphemed YaHUaH like he do now. So when the servants of God come against the name of YaHUaH, all you doing is acting out what your father taught you to do.
That's right.
To hate YaHUaH. That's all you doing, right? So when you blaspheme the true Mashiach and you insert a God in his place, all you're doing is what your father taught you to do, is to hate the Mashiach and the order of YaHUaH, which he hated in the garden, which he hated in eternity. So now he's set down here trying to manifest through prophecy that YaHUaH has warned us about this tree. Don't eat from it. Don't commune with it. Don't touch it lest you die.
Don't take his mark.
Don't take his mark. Don't take his signs. Right? The mark of the beast, what we're dealing with. Right? It's an office, brothers and sisters. An office of pollution, an office of blasphemy is what's coming from it, right? Revelation 17, verse 1. I can get there, go ahead.
Verse 1. And there came one of the 7 Malachim who had the 7 bowls, and talked with me, saying to me, Come, I will show you the sentence of the great whore that sits upon many waters.
Wait a minute. The great whore is this beastly system that sits on all the waters or the seas, which are the people or the nation, right? So how it's controlling you is through blasphemy. Go ahead.
Now, verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, or practiced idolatry, or God worship, the worship of Elohim. And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
What is the wine of her fornication? Her polluted doctrine. Right? So in the book of Isaiah, which is YaHUaH, chapter 28, it says that all tables are full of vomit, right? Because everywhere you go, it's a table or altar dedicated to a god. So therefore, the true worshipers cannot worship outside of basically their home unless they build a place to congregate and worship YaHUaH there. But as far as we know, as church, synagogues, mosques, temples, no. All that stuff is dedicated to the beastly system, the mark of a man, the number of a man, which represents the name of a man, which is an organization headed by the dragon in the earth on the 7 continents to destroy mankind, brothers and sisters. Where we at? Verse 3. Go ahead.
So he carried me away in the Ruach into the midst of God worshippers of Elohim. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
What's this woman? In Revelation 12, verse 3, the 7 heads and the 10 crowns, basically, or 7 crowns, 10 heads. Go back and read it for yourself. You know, is this nation of people that the dragon, who is the woman, deceived to wage war with the first woman to the end. To the very end. Brothers and sisters, go ahead. Huh?
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a gold cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Uh-huh.
And upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of the harlots and of the abominations of the earth.
Wait a minute. So everybody consciously, willfully agreeing to fellowship with this woman by offering the right hand of fellowship, by being in agreement with her doctrine, which is the wine of her fornication, which is God worship. So this is why people go so hardcore for God, because they drunk with God worship. They drunk, brothers and sisters. Come out of your drunkenness. Come out of your harlotry. Understand who the real beast is and what the makeup and the characteristic of the beast is for a sign. Remember, YaHUaH said, put a mark of the law in your front of your eye that you may see. Right? The beast said, hey, I'm going to put this mark in your head or in your hand. I want you to either agree with me mentally, consciously, or fellowship with the right hand of fellowship. The mark of the beast. It is an order, basically, brothers and sisters. An order of corruption. An order of blasphemy. An order of God worship. Demonology, devil worship. That's what it is. So when you start doing all these traditions out of all these different religions, that's based on demonology. Because YaHUaH told you simply how to worship him. Right? So hey, it's better to take the sign of the 7 than it is of the 666. Right? Let's go a little further.
Verse 6.
Go ahead then.
Verse 6. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of YaHUshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great astonishment.
Hey, he wondered with great astonishment, but keep reading, because not you, but keep reading at home, because it tells you, hey, don't bow down to this matter, because he's a servant just like you are, but understand the importance of what the beast is, who the beast is, and who he is in cahoots with, right? Revelation 12 again. Revelation 12, picking up at verse 10 this time, right? Go ahead.
Verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our Father, and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brother is cast down, who accused them before our Father day and night. And they overcame her by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, the law and the prophets. And they loved not their lives unto the death.
So you're going to have to die for this truth, most likely, if you live long enough to see the second coming of the Mashiach as he takes this system and he destroys it. Right? So in Daniel, it says that a stone cut without hands hit the toes and destroyed the whole image, or destroyed the whole system of God worship, brothers and sisters. Continue.
Verse 12. Therefore, rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because why?
And of the sea. For the devil is come down upon you, unto you, having great wrath, because she knows that she has but a short time.
Because the devil knows she has but a short time, right? Why do I call her devil she? Why is it written as she's a she? Because she represents all God, male and female, brothers and sisters. Because remember, the book likened her as a woman anyway, with the nation of YaHUaH is likened as a woman, right? So, hey, understand that Satan is down here looking to kill, steal, and destroy as she walks up to and fro, up and down in the earth. Brothers and sisters, let's pay attention, because obviously she's going to have the opportunity to set up her system wholesale in the last days, which we are at the tip of the iceberg in the last days, and we see the system, but we're not paying any attention to the system. We see the different beastly gods in charge of the system, which coming and going, but we still ain't paying any attention, because we are divided by denominations in religion. But the whole goal for the beast under the dragon is to bring everybody together under one whole doctrine of pollution. To give mentally and the right hand of fellowship to it, right? Where we at?
Verse 13.
Go ahead.
And when the dragon saw that she was cast into the earth, she persecuted the woman which brought forth the man.
So what woman brought forth the man in Revelation 12? The first woman was represented by the sun, the moon, and the 12 stars, which is the nation of YaHUaH, the priest nation of YaHUaH. Because she cannot afford the two witnesses, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, which are scattering the whole planet, to come together and start teaching everybody, be ye warned of the mark of the beast. Be ye warned of the sign of the beast. Be ye warned of the dragon. So she got to come and make war with the two witnesses. Right? Go ahead,
Verse 14.
Uh-huh.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent.
So time is 1 year, times plural is 2 years, and a half time is a half year. So great tribulation is 3.5 years, brothers and sisters, where it's all in or all out, basically, right? So technically, the beastly system is going to try to destroy the priesthood of YaHUaH because it don't want to give up its authority. Simple as that. So if you understand, just looking at Catholicism or Christianity for the most part, that they have Fat Tuesday to sin all you can sin, and then Wednesday they come to repent. What's it? If they do it every year, then it's not really repentance.
No.
Right? It's not, right? So every year they do this process, this tradition, basically. There's this order of blasphemy, right? It is against the law. If you don't believe in the law, then it's righteous to you. If you believe in the law of YaHUaH, then it is an abomination to you, right? So Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday, to learn to agree, to take the agreement in your forehead or the fellowship in your right hand. And then for 40 days you pretend you are fasting to get rid of or deny pleasure. Right?
You eat no meat, but you eat fish.
Eat no meat, but you eat fish, right? So hey, yeah, I get a little messed up with sometimes because you go to McDonald's, all they want to offer you is fish during that time. But okay, that's their tradition, right? And we just caught up in it, but we gotta make sure that we're not caught up in it, right? So now, continue.
Verse 15. And the serpent cast out of her mouth water as a flood after the woman, that she might cause her to be carried away by the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of her mouth.
Wait a minute. So go back to Exodus, right, to where YaHUaH opened the Red Sea for his priest nation, his bride, the woman that represented by the sun and the moon and the 12 stars, the house of YaHUaH. The earth opened up the sea, they went through, and then when the beast went in, who was the beast then? Pharaoh, right? A world leader. He went in with his army. When his army went in, and YaHUaH destroyed them all, right? So hey, you want to know how it's going to end in the future? Go look at how it ended in the beginning, right? Because YaHUaH says, "For I am YaHUaH, and I change not," right? So he ain't got to change the game. He just going to let you know that you caught up in it regardless. So believe YaHUaH and be saved, or don't believe YaHUaH and be destroyed by the beast. Right? Where we at?
Verse 17.
Go ahead.
And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and went to make war with those who forsook her seed being those who keep the laws of YaHUaH and have the testimony of YaHUshua.
So those who keep the law of YaHUaH and have the testimony of YaHUaH are the ones that's going to be able to see this beast and are going to be protected. So learn the law of YaHUaH, brothers and sisters, and we're going to let you end this right here because it's just so important to understand the mark of the beast, where it's coming from, and how you got to deal with it. So we see plenty of marks and signs in the scriptures. Let's really understand the marks and the signs in scriptures, that they may help us understand life or death. Choose you this day, life or death. And with that, I hope someone got some understanding in YaHUsh's name.
Hallelujah. YaHUaH.